Everyone's talking about it. We just hit it in the A block. And we're talking about clamoring now for a piece of the action. The action is, of course, the prediction markets. Listen, everyone's got an opinion on just about everything. So now, well, you've got ways to make money off your inner Nostradamus. Now, last night, Robinhood made it official. They've entered the arena as well, announcing their own prediction markets. By the way, some other key initiatives. So joining me now, Chairman CEO of Robinhood Markets, Vlad Tenev. And Vlad, so walk us through Robinhood prediction markets. Explain the platform to us.
Great to be here, Charles. Robinhood prediction markets launched a little bit over a year ago, and we had one contract, the contract that started it all on the 2024 presidential election. And that was a big success that resonated with our customers beyond our imaginations. And in the past year, it's grown tremendously. So we now list over 1,500 contracts on the platform. So remember, we started with one, and it's gone to 1,500. We traded 3 billion contracts on the platform in November and 11 billion overall in aggregate. And this is the fastest growing business of all time for Robinhood. You know, that 30 billion contracts translates to about a 30 million of monthly revenue in the month of November. So it's scaled to a 9-figure revenue business for us in a relatively short amount of time. And I think the most interesting thing about prediction markets, why I'm so excited about them, is it's not only useful just for traders, but there's a bigger use case as a source of news and information and an accurate forecasting tool. So yesterday at our Yes No event, we also announced that prediction markets are now available on web for anyone to search for and browse. And so you can see where the wisdom of the crowd stands on any particular issue. Up until then, they had only been available logged in on our mobile app, which was great for traders, but now they're available for everyone.
So let me bring up two things. First of all, you know, if you look at the last few years, the prediction markets, to your point, have mostly been, the vast majority have been involving sports, although the presidential election was absolutely huge. So critics will say, well, how is this any different than sports gambling?
I think the interesting thing about prediction markets are that it's a infrastructure that can power many sorts of things. So we not only have politics and sports, which we were just talking about, but we've got prediction markets on the weather. We've got world affairs. We've got economic markets. So, for example, one of the most consequential ones is the Fed decision. And the Fed decision basically affects everything. Right. Whether the Fed lowers or keeps rates the same, it has reverberations throughout the crypto markets, the global equities markets. And you know, you saw that when we had our little market perturbance between the end of October and November, people were like, what's going on? Why are tech stocks suddenly taking a big hit? If you looked at the prediction market for the Fed decision, you could see that it coincided with the period where we thought the Fed was going to keep rates the same in December. So I think the whole, is it trading or is it gambling discussion kind of ends up in a place where we're arguing about the definitions of words. But one of the things that's really unique about prediction markets is all of this is happening on financial infrastructure and on exchanges where buyers and sellers are meeting in a marketplace to price events. And of course, this is having a big disruptive effect on the sports industry right now. And that's why all of the sports betting platforms are scrambling to figure out their prediction market strategy. But we actually see a world where the non-sports contracts grow very fast, potentially even faster than the sports contracts. And this is just much bigger and affects many more industries than just sports. That's why I think we're at the beginning of a prediction market super cycle that's going to play out in the coming years.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I saw a lot of memes last night about sell your DraftKings stock, et cetera, because to your point, you know, it's one thing to have that one niche in the market. You've got the growth area of it. And, you know, it gets back, and you touched on it, the wisdom of the crowd, and Wall Street, ironically, doesn't believe the crowd has a lot of wisdom. It's particularly when it comes to investors. And one of the most popular books when you talk about bubbles is, Extraordinarily Popular Delusions and the Madness of Crowds. But I guess that ultimately, particularly when people put their own money up, the crowd is there factual information that the crowd is typically more right than they're wrong?
There was a study that came out. I saw it posted and shared on social media a couple months ago. Now, I didn't run the study, so I can't exactly endorse its veracity. But the conclusion was that if you look back a month before resolution date of these contracts, so an entire month before the contract is decided, prediction markets successfully predicted the outcome of the event some staggering percentage of the time. I think it was north of 90%.
Right.
So the conclusion is, I think they're the best we've got in terms of forecasting. I'm not aware of polls having anywhere near that level of accuracy. So I think that when financial markets meets forecasting, very useful things can happen. A lot of people have been talking about this Warner Brothers acquisition, and when they talk about it, they sort of like look at the stock prices of the companies as a proxy. Right. Is it going to happen? Is it not? Who's going to do it? Well, we've got a prediction market, one of the 1,500 plus, on this very topic, and you can zero in on that precise event and outcome without having to worry about how other exogenous factors could affect the stock price. I think that's what's making them such a useful tool and why they're resonating so much right now.
It's hard to hear a newscast or in any area of news without someone referring to the prediction markets. You also last night talked about the Cortex experience, the Portfolio Digest, but I also saw a piece where you were talking about registered investment advisors. Before I let you go, and I appreciate you spending the time here, you built the business on retail investors, and they always want to kind of know, will that still be your top priority?
I think retail investors is the core of what we do, and we're having a busy end of the year. We're in no ways done with 2025, but looking ahead to 2026. I'm very lasered in on how we can give retail investors access to more things that institutions have. Private markets, in particular, giving retail investors exposure to some of the most innovative AI companies is top of mind. Also, the Trump Accounts initiative, where we're giving every child born in this country an investment account so they can invest in the great industries of our country, is top of mind. So I think we've got a lot to do. I mean, Robinhood's gotten quite big, $1/3 of $1 trillion in assets, but that's still a drop in the bucket. And I think we could be doing much, much more to help retail investors get a leg up in this world.
Well, you're definitely moving in the right direction. I think once you talked out loud, mused out loud about people being able to trade for a living, between all these products and the prediction markets, you might be onto something. Vlad, congratulations on an amazing year. Hope to talk to you again real soon.